I'm Joan Larkin, and I'm going to read from my new book, Old Stranger. Chain of events. It started with being in nothingness and hiding a pack of Luckies in my school bag, tucking a matchbook in front without tearing the cellophane. I risked taking the streetcar downtown late at night. Did they never hear me? And basked in the gleam of Herb Pomeroy's band and the tang of underage vodka in orange juice. I quit sleeping in metal curlers, told everyone I was an existentialist, though I kept wearing my Peter Pan collar and gold tone circle pin almost right up to the night of the abortion. I gave up on the straggly page boy. I think that was part of what Mother meant when she screamed, "Where did I go wrong?" Well, here's a poem about a physical experience that some of you may recognize. All at once, I bent double. Sounds came out of me. No way to stop the dark flood soaking into the passenger seat. More blood than a period, and too late. My wax-white bridal dress, your friend's cello in the echoey chapel already behind us. Parents receding like the road in our rearview mirror. My wet skirt stuck to the street. That breathtaking fist of pain when the thickened wall I couldn't see shed its unbreathing ball of cells as if it had made a decision. Something I shrank from in my somnambulist life, unless we count the times I've cut and run. I still see you, speechless behind the wheel, jaw clenched as you swerve toward the lit Esso station. Last chance for a long stretch of miles. I went to a college where there were folk festivals, and members of the Seeger family used to come and play, and a memory of that sort of sparked the writing of this poem. Banjo, dulcimer, fiddle. Face resting in my palm, I stretched out long on the green lawn, listening. Not listening so much as loving how air shivered and sorrow was a tune, a light index finger downstroke, a sly joke, a note that repeated. My mind twanged with it. Grass trembled and shone. Banjo, dulcimer, fiddle, singing my story. Hush, listen. This song has 1,000 verses. Oh, this is the title poem, Old Stranger. And I've used the knife that's described in it this very day, cutting some fruit for the oatmeal. Old Stranger. When my lost carbon steel knife turned up as if it had never left the drawer, dark haft, trio of nickel-silver rivets like moons of Pluto, thin blade stained as before. I breathed, spoke to the empty room, reached for the old stranger, touched its whetted edge. Alive, it could change tomatoes to glistening discs, basil to little hills, draw blood from meat. It raked joy onto my plate, while the gauze that wrapped my cut reddened. My father's tie rack. Back of the door to his dark closet, eye height, with clever steel pegs I could flip both ways. A row of pendulums, of tongues, words wordless, witnesses waiting to be sworn, the town secret, a silk body, a man's plenty, a wild ache, a knot, one painted with gold mums, one with blood leaves on mud, Vishnu's skin, 20 shades of sky, white flag iris, slick sheen of a green-black snake. Which one went with him into the hole? Somewhere else, his belts. The Untamed. A single white hair, one end still tethered to Weigang Li's bow, launches itself eastward on a cold current toward the viola, toward Mongolian steppes wild with stallions, no longer bound, rosined, tightened, kinked like a lightning bolt. It floats left, silver in stage light, hovers over Li's Stradivarius, drifts, dangerous, downward onto the strings. A rest measure, and Li squeezes it in his fist, twist yanks, lets it drop. Unblinking, draws his bow for the next note. The escapee, mute on shaking boards. Beethoven's great fugue is delivered whole as I dig sharp hooves into the ice, force breath back into my body. Well, I'll read this one. It really was inspired by eating oysters in Singapore. Singapore. Ice clouds rose in a glass. A ghost mushroom floated in clear broth. Eel-streaked pillows of eggplant like our flesh. The marina darkened under its gemstone necklace. A flash turned a child rising from the pool fungus white. Many-mouthed quiet, Malay, Mandarin, Singlish, Tamil. I hardly know where I am, tasting green Cambodian fire, opening a hinged valve to its scar, swallowing silk. And this is another travel poem, but it turns out that the things you obsess about, of course, are with you wherever you are. So the poem ends with somebody I was thinking about as I looked up at the sky. Cancun. In the sky, a devil kissing a witch, or goat an elephant, or elephant god whose trunk is a seahorse, or scorpion curled in the jaws of a rat, wind-filled now, dolphin smiling at Mozart's wig drifting east, space filled with Midas's torn cotton. I saw her drifting like that, her crooked smile, as if everything amused her. At 24th and 10th, I heard her over the seething river of cars, and her terrible soft whine willed me to turn back in the dark. She wore no sign. Neither of us spoke. Willing, unwilling, my hand reached, and I saw her eyes, her open mouth, the shroud she stood wrapped in at the curb, her cupped hand steady in November wind that was shaking a scaffold. And this is one of the poems toward the end of the book. And it was inspired by a tree I used to pass when I was at a writer's colony, and on my way to the studio, there she was. White pine. Walking to the studio, cane printing the dirt, I see you rising from a thicket, ragged ferns at your foot, deep grooves in your bark, around you a cloud of needles. High on your trunk, 2 moons, like scars of sheared off breasts where the chainsaw whined and sap oozed from the wound. Below them, a dark, articulate slit, dead and living in one body. Your cones open in warm air, give winged seeds to the wind, enough for a forest. Death poem, wait. Joan, keep walking.